Aloha, friends. I'm not going to start like that. I'm not Hawaiian. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Tal, and this is the Ukulele Nomad. Today, I wanted to tell you guys a story about how the ukulele saved my life.
That was a little doodle.
Me and the ukulele have a very long story. This instrument changed my life in very positive ways when I was younger. I've been playing the ukulele for about 12 years now. I started playing when I was 15 and I'm 27, so 12 years now. And I've played it all over the world. I've played it for people. I've performed very little, but I have performed a little bit. I've done many a jam session around the campfire, and then obviously almost daily I'm jamming out on this thing by myself. This ukulele is actually not the ukulele that I play daily. This is an ukulele I picked up recently on Facebook Marketplace and set up for a friend with some really nice strings. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but I did want to tell you guys the story of how this instrument changed my life. And it will give kind of context for this YouTube channel. Maybe some of you guys have subscribed to it as of recent and don't really know why. So to give some introduction about myself, especially if you're new here, my name is Tal, and I've been traveling around the world for the last 10 years. I'm originally from the United States of America, but I'm Israeli-American. I hold both nationalities, and I visited in the last 10 years over 64 countries, usually with an ukulele strapped to my back, hence the name for this YouTube channel, Ukulele Nomad. Also, as a full-time job, I have been making YouTube videos on a YouTube channel called The Traveling Clat, where I've shown off my travel vlogs around the world. These two channels are completely unrelated, but this has been a passion project. I started around probably 3 to 4 years ago now, but only started getting off the ground around 6 months ago. I've always wanted to dedicate a place on the internet for myself, for my music, but never got around to doing it. So hence the Ukulele Nomad was born this year. But to give context, let's begin. How did I actually start
Playing this wonderful, beautiful little instrument.
That was just a little bit of an opening for Hotel California. So when I was 15, I was living in the United States of America. I had just not dropped out of high school, but I had transferred myself from a high school with around 4,000 students in it to a thing called virtual school, which was a program that was offered to students in the United States of America where instead of going physically to classes in person, they could just go to a virtual school and stay at home. I thought that this would be a better option for myself because I was kind of socially awkward, didn't really have a lot of friends in the school I was in. So I decided to push myself to do this virtual school. Maybe I could get a job, start working, which I did end up doing. But I did find myself, because of the lack of social interaction with people on a day-to-day basis, sort of not having many friends and being mostly a loner. I spent most of my time on YouTube watching YouTube videos, and I found myself to be kind of depressive. I didn't want to get out of bed most days. I didn't show up to do any of my assignments that I needed to do in school and kind of bullshit my way through the entire year of school or second half semester. Somewhere along the way, I remember watching a YouTube video of somebody playing an ukulele, and it called back to me because when I was younger, when I lived in Israel, I did a course on how to play the guitar on a classic guitar, but I had a really, really hard time with it. I also really loved playing the game Guitar Hero on my friend's PlayStation 2 at the time, or PlayStation 3. I think it was PlayStation 2. So I always had sort of a connection to music and to instruments, but it just didn't make much sense for me at the time when I was a kid because I had a hard time with the guitar, didn't have a constant instructor. My parents really didn't push me to play any instruments. So it kind of came, a lot of that motivation was supposed to come from me, and it didn't. Until I found the ukulele online. And I remember hearing or seeing somebody play probably just like the basic Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It was probably a cover of the typical Somewhere Over the Rainbow that everybody knows that. So it probably started off with something like that, and a fascination of seeing that song being played and hearing the ukulele for the first time, and that sort of bright sound that it produces and the happiness that it brings to every room. I think this instrument really has a magical power. And I'll never forget like seeing that first YouTube video and feeling that feeling and saying, all right, I want to get one. So I waltzed my way down to Guitar Center in Florida and bought myself probably a $30 to $50 ukulele made out of mahogany wood, a soprano. And I started playing it every day. I would do Skype calls with my friends who lived across the United States and other places, and I used to show them my progress, and they all hated me for it as I slowly learned how to do like a C and a G and an A minor and an F, and how I slowly learned how to strum and how I slowly learned how to chuck. And that first year, I remember completely coming out of my shell and gaining so much confidence in life and happiness simply through the fact that I played the ukulele. When I pushed myself to go back to school the year after, I'm not going to say that I got very good in just a year, but I improved so vastly, and I pushed myself, and I fell in love with this instrument so much that I started a music club in that school and gained a whole new group of friends where we had like a band and we played, and I was always the lead with the ukulele because I was leading everything. And it gave me a sense of confidence. It gave me a new group of friends. It gave me the confidence to perform in front of people in school. And I knew that I was sort of bound to this instrument. About a year or two after, when I was my senior year of high school, I picked up the guitar and realized that, hey, I could transfer a lot of the skills that I learned from and basic chord structure and understanding the chords and everything I learned from YouTube, because I had not gotten an instructor or a teacher to teach me how to play the ukulele. I learned everything off of YouTube videos. I realized I could transfer a lot of that knowledge to a guitar, because a guitar is an ukulele capoed at the 5th fret with 3 extra strings on top, or 2 extra strings on top. And I was so enamored by the fact that, hey, I kind of understand music now. I knew what a chord progression was. I knew what chords were. I knew what notes were. I knew what beats were. I knew what like the 4th was in a song or an 8th was in a song, and I knew how to play music. And then I started collecting random instruments like flutes and a marimba, and there was this explosion of music in my life. And again, to give further context, nobody in my family that I know of has any sort of inclination to play any musical instruments. Not my mom or my dad, my grandparents, any of my aunts, uncles, or cousins, nobody that I know of plays any music at all, has ever played music around me. And nobody's ever pushed me to this. It's sort of something I fell into on my own. And so as the years went by, and when I graduated high school, I started traveling, I knew that this thing was coming with me. And I started backpacking around the world. I always had an ukulele strapped to my bag. And I went through these journeys of basically buying and selling a bunch of different ukuleles. My first one tragically got cracked in half when I think I slammed it on the floor by accident, and it broke into pieces. I still have those pieces saved in my parents' house in the United States. I'll never get rid of it. One day I'd like to turn it into a ring or into a necklace piece, because it's probably the most important thing that's ever happened in my teenage life. It changed my life significantly. But as I started traveling, it started changing and discovering new ukuleles. And when I was at Hawaii in the North Shore, I got to visit the ukulele store on the North Shore in Halevea and to play their ukuleles, even buy an ukulele from them. Granted, a lower end one because I didn't have much money at the time. But this instrument has given me so much joy, and so many people around me so much joy. And as I've learned and progressed and gotten better at playing it, I've been able to bring that joy to a lot of other people, and also started teaching. For the last year or so, I've actually been training a very close friend of mine in how to play the ukulele and be teaching him. And it's always been something that I've shown off in my different social medias. When I started the YouTube channel that I do as my full-time job now, the Traveling Clat, for the first 2 or 3 years, I would upload consistently videos of me doing covers on the ukulele, most of which have been re-uploaded to this channel. So if you look back at this channel's upload history, you'll see most of those covers I used to do on my other channel. I had a series called Music Monday, and I would challenge myself to learn a new song by tabbing out. So I would learn how to tab out a song just by listening to it by ear, and then I would play it. I would make a cover of it, usually with my guitar and some other instruments thrown in. And that's sort of the mood that I brought with myself traveling around the world. I wanted to make music. I got so involved in making travel videos that the music always sort of took a side position. I would basically upload these little covers. Everything that's been uploaded to this YouTube channel, the Ukulele Nomad, was at one point uploaded to my other Instagram account and my other social media. But I realized somewhere along the journey is I should make a dedicated space for my creativity, especially my musical journey, to sort of flourish. Because one place is for travel videos and work, and the other place is for creative expression. And I also realized I have a sort of tenacity to want to teach. I really believe in the power of this instrument. I think this thing can change the world. I truly, truly believe that. And I see the joy that people get from playing it. And I think the ease of use, how easy it is to actually learn. Like, a lot of people don't know, because sometimes when you're playing fancy things on an ukulele and you're doing a B flat chord and an F and a D minor, people are like, wow, that looks complicated, your fingers are going. But a lot of people don't know that playing your first chord on an ukulele is as simple as taking your ring finger and putting it on the 3rd fret of the bottom string.
And you have a C chord that basically allows you to get into every single chord on the ukulele. And then you could do the same with your middle finger and just play an A minor at the top string at the 2nd fret. And you've got your 2nd chord, and there you go, you can play a song.
And the way and how easy it is to get into playing music and learning how to do music through this instrument, I think is truly magical. And I really, really do believe in the power that this has to change the world, to help people, to make people happier. And if there's a way for me to actually bring that to other people, I'd like to try. And so that's how the Ukulele Nomad was born. I really want to spread the magic of this instrument to as many people as I can. And there's obviously so many talented ukulele teachers online. There's so many who are more skilled than me, who are better players than me, who have actually trained musically. I don't know all the lingo. I never took classes on this. Everything I know is pretty much learning from the street or from YouTube. But I think adding my perspective, my joy and my love for this instrument into the world of YouTube could definitely help. And maybe there's some people who will fall in love with the ukulele and the music that I'm able to produce just by watching my videos. So this is an ukulele. Again, I just got it off Facebook Marketplace for very cheap. It was like $20. Set it up for a friend. I want to show you guys briefly, and I'm going to make a whole video on this in the future, but about my ukulele that I use daily. I know some amazing ukulele crafters and builders that I've connected with during my travels who have actually made me quite a few ukuleles already. In America, I have a sopranino ukulele, which is a soprano ukulele, but even smaller, that's playable. And so I asked them if it was possible for them to handcraft me from mango wood, sprouted mango wood, a pin ukulele with a dinosaur headstock. And that's it. I don't want to fully go into detail everything because I got to make a whole video on this in the future, but that's a short story. I'll tell you guys the whole entire story in the future. But this is my ukulele. So I love this instrument more than anything I've ever owned. I think it's the coolest ukulele that exists because it's unique and there's nothing else like it. And it's got the head of my favorite dinosaur, a brachiosaurus, on top. That's a little story of how the ukulele saved my life and where I'm at. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe to this channel and get a lot of knowledge about how to play the ukulele. I don't know the exact schedule as I'm still figuring it out and balancing my other videos, but I promise I'll make some fun, engaging ukulele content wherever I go and whenever I can around the world. We'll see you guys in the next one here on the Ukulele Nomad. Thanks for watching.